Hello everyone, nice to meet you again with the Disney 3D Art YouTube channel. In today's video it will be the character Huey, Dewey and Louie in Ducktales. Huey, Dewey, and Louie are Donald Duck's identical triplet nephews created by Ted Osborne and Al Taliaferro. They first appeared in the 1937 comic strip and corresponding 1938 animated short Donald's Nephews. Traditionally, the boys are identified by the three primary colors of red, blue, and green. Disney archivist Dave Smith once said, "Note that the brightest hue of the three is red, Huey. The color of water, dew, is blue, Dewey, and that leaves Louie and leaves are green." Huey, Dewey, and Louie were originally created as gag characters for the purpose of provoking Donald's temper. Their conception drew inspiration from the archetypal, unruly children that had previously appeared in cartoons throughout the early 1900s, such as Frederick Burr Opper's Happy Hooligan. To keep the characters from growing stale, story artists Carl Barks and Harry Reeves further developed the nephews as a subversion of patriarchal standards wherein they display greater competence and maturity than their uncle, Donald. Barks incorporated the nephews as regular players in his comic stories, where they often accompanied their grand uncle, Scrooge McDuck, on globe-trotting expeditions. Barks envisioned the nephews as being the brains of the place, and recontextualized their trickster behavior as a method of self-defense against foes, namely Donald. The nephews have also been portrayed as being members of the Junior Woodchucks scouting group, and as such, they regularly consult the Junior Woodchucks guidebook to resolve their problems. Throughout their appearances in both screen and print, the nephews had largely been indistinguishable beyond their color-coded apparel. In 1987, Huey, Dewey, and Louie appeared extensively in the animated television series Ducktales, the success of which spawned a reboot in 2017. This reimagining would define and develop the nephews as individual personalities, Huey as the mature eldest, Dewey as the attention-seeking middle child, and Louie as a treasure-obsessed loafer. Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the sons of Donald's sister, Della Duck. However, in Donald's Nephews, their mother is instead named Dumbella. In the original theatrical shorts, they were originally sent to visit Donald for only one day. In the comics, the three were sent to stay with Donald on a temporary basis until their father came back from the hospital. The boys ended up sending him there after a practical joke of putting firecrackers under his chair. In both the comics and animated shorts, the boys' parents were never heard from or referred to again after these instances, resulting in the boys ending up permanently living with Donald. In keeping with Disney's usual elimination of kid characters' parents, all four of them live in the city of Duckburg in the state of Calisota. The boys are noted for having both identical appearances and personalities in most appearances, with the three sometimes shown as finishing each other's sentences as a running joke. In the theatrical shorts, Huey, Dewey, and Louie would often behave in a rambunctious manner, sometimes committing retaliation or revenge on their Uncle Donald for something he did to them. In the comics, however, as developed by Al Taliaferro and Carl Barks, the boys are usually depicted in a more well-behaved manner, usually helping their Uncle Donald and great-uncle Scrooge McDuck in the adventure at hand. In the early Barks comics, the ducklings were still wild and unruly, but their characters improved considerably due to their membership in the Junior Woodchucks and the good influence of their wise old great-grandmother Grandma Duck. Huey, Dewey, and Louie are Donald Duck's mischievous nephews, who have a usual rivalry with him. While they each have a distinct character trait, they share some similarities. All three are shown to be crafty and troublesome and usually think alike. In some earlier cartoons, they would often argue among themselves and have been shown to whine and cry. But in later films, they are seen to agree on pretty much everything. All three also share joy in tormenting Donald for their own amusement, such as when they tied him in his own hammock. However, this is sometimes an act of revenge from a prank committed by Donald instead, such as when he imitated Ajax the gorilla and they did the exact same thing, inadvertently endangering their uncle's life if they hadn't sprayed both Ajax and Donald with tear gas. Individually, the personalities and quirks of the boys were inspired by real-life sibling dynamics. Huey is the eldest triplet, so he acts the most responsible. Dewey is the middle child and just wants to stand out. Louie, the youngest, often shows that he prefers to appreciate a lazy lifestyle. Despite the rivalry, they love their uncle very dearly. And he loves them, too. These young ducks have white feathers and amber bills and webbed feet. Their eyes are oval and light blue with black pupils. Often their eyes are simply black. Their shirts are in different colors, with the most common color arrangement being Huey in red, Dewey in blue, and Louie in green, except in many printed comics, in which all three of their shirts are instead colored black. In most appearances they are children no older than 10. In a number of Carl Barks stories, they were instead portrayed as kindergartners, Kite Weather, The Crazy Quiz Show and Want to Buy an Island? Another Barks story, Truant Officer Duck, depicts the boys in second grade, putting them around 7 to 8 years old. In the Ducktales episode, Yuppie Ducks, it is stated several times that they are 10 years old in that episode, and in Bubbio and Juliet, the nephews begin their 5th grade school year. However, in the later episode, Bubba's Big Brainstorm, Louie says Bubba the Cave Duck is in 1st grade. Yet Bubba is also shown to be in the same class as the triplets, implying them all to be in 1st grade despite the previous 5th grade and 10 years old episodes. Meanwhile, they are uniquely depicted in Quack Pack not as young children but instead as teenagers who, by the time of the episode, Need for Speed, are old enough to drive. In the 2017 reboot of DuckTales, each triplet wears newly updated clothing to differentiate from each other. Huey wears a red polo t-shirt while still retaining his colored hat as seen in previous appearances. Dewey wears a long-sleeved shirt inside his normal t-shirt. Louie wears a green hoodie. The distinct character traits of each of the boys seem to have a large impact on their personalities in the DuckTales reboot. In most of their animated portrayals, the nephews speak with a similar duck speech as their Uncle Donald. As such, Clarence Nash, who originated the voice of Donald, gave the boys the exact same trick voice as their uncle, which lasted for a number of decades until the 1960s. From the 60s onward, there was an effort to make the boys more intelligible than Donald, while still maintaining a duck-like quality in their voices. This began with Dick Beals, who voiced the boys in the animated educational films Scrooge McDuck and Money and Donald's Fire Survival Plan, as well as Tony Pope in the 1978 Disney read-along album Dumbo's Day at the Circus, but was cemented with the introduction of Russi Taylor in the late 1980s. Russi's portrayal of the triplets was so well received that she continued to voice them in a majority of their speaking roles until her death in 2019. Tony Anselmo also performed the nephews in Down and Out with Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse Works, House of Mouse, and Have a Laugh, for voiceovers using the same voice as their Uncle Donald, but with slightly high-pitched voices. In the DuckTales episode Duck to the Future, adult versions of the triplets were voiced by Hal Smith. In Quack Pack, the boys are given distinct personalities, and therefore each given separate voices. Jeannie Elias voices Huey, Pamela Adlon voices Dewey, and E.G. Daily voices Louie. A similar method was used for the DuckTales reboot, of which Huey, Dewey, and Louie are voiced by Danny Pudi, Ben Schwartz, and Bobby Moynihan, respectively. More than 6 months ago, this channel broadcasting the character Scrooge McDuck also in DuckTales. Please watch again if anyone has not seen this video. First is to draw the body of the duck, then wear the hoodie for Huey, Dewey and Louie. Next is to draw 2 legs and 2 arms for Huey, Dewey and Louie. Finally, draw the head of the duck, then decorate the face and wear the hat for Huey, Dewey and Louie. So the character Huey, Dewey and Louie in DuckTales has been completed. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to receive the new notify. At the same time, download the app and go to the website DisneyStore to shopping online, as well as Disney Plus to watch some movies and TV shows for free, used by many people of the world. We'll see you again tomorrow. Merry Christmas and goodbye everyone.